You are listening to the Built to Grow podcast, delivering the knowledge in all things fitness business. We help gym owners win. Here are your hosts, Tim Lyons and Randy Engston.
All right, welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, and in studio today, as always, co-host Randy El Patron del Positivity Engston. What's up, buddy?
¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estés?
Man, I really wish I actually kept up with Spanish study. It would have been awesome to be efficient.
I have a buddy in California who does construction. He's on the phone, fluid, he's as white as me and you, and he's straight bilingual. It's awesome.
It is. It really is. And obviously, as time progresses, it becomes more and more of a tool and a capability. I mean, it's pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, I know a couple words for the construction site, and that's
I got real good at the bar conversation when I was younger, but that's about the extent of my use,
All right, so great news, good news and bad news to tell everybody. We are completely sold out. The Fit Pro Growth Summit is sold out. We actually just walked the venue the other day. We actually got another table in there, got a couple extra seats. Those sold out same day. So that's awesome, guys. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm busy on my PowerPoints and getting everything ready to make sure this is a great event, and I'm excited.
I'm stoked. As we've continued, to kind of share the message of what the premise behind the event is about, the list of speakers, the list of attendees. Mm-hmm. It is a solid room of people.
And the fact that we were just talking about the other day, we just had an idea.
Yeah.
And in fact, this is something that listeners can learn from. I've never done an event. We've never done an event like this. And out of nowhere, we felt like there was a need.
Correct.
And we created an event around it, sold it out 30 days before the dang event.
Mm-hmm.
And got people flying in from all over the world. We have people from Canada and UK, obviously the United States, and it's going to be great. So that just goes to say, hey, you know what? Imperfect action trumps perfection every single time.
Love it.
Just take action. I think we took pretty perfect action too. I mean, I'm sure during the event, I'm going to give everybody a disclaimer. This is my first one. There's going to be some things that get messed up, but I'm sure everybody's super cool. I know pretty much everybody personally.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a room of peers. It's not like you're standing on stage and everybody is, some stranger that we have no contact with. So
so that's all good. Thank you guys, and thank you for rating and reviewing this podcast on iTunes. That really helps, and we're gaining momentum. Like goodness, we tripled our numbers from we used a thing called Simplecast, so podcasters out there, if you're using Libsyn, but Simplecast is what we use. And it tells you the unique listeners over a 7-day period, and it was triple over the last couple weeks. So
beautiful.
So it's good. People are digging it.
Yeah, and obviously, Tim said, thank you guys, because we can't continue. We're not promoting the podcast. We're not doing paid advertisements to spread the word. Essentially, we want to just deliver value to the marketplace and
word of mouth.
You guys, this is purely just to deliver value for you guys, and you spreading the word is exactly what we need in order to help more gym owners grow.
Yeah, and if we ever wanted to, we can go towards the Andy Frisella. The payment is shared.
Yeah, hell yeah.
If you guys find value, your payment for these episodes for us to continue to do these at no charge, right? No sponsorships. We're just doing them on our own. It's just to tell somebody, another gym owner, you found value. Share this with them. That'd be all I ask.
Yeah.
So,
well, on to today.
Today, different style of an episode, more of a personal one.
Yeah, a little bit more.
A little bit more personal. So, I don't know how to really say this, but my whole life, I've had the entrepreneurial bug. I opened the gym at 29, okay, which isn't necessarily super young. There's gym owners that open at 21. That's cool. But even going back to junior high, I remember going to the grocery store, or the Osco drug is what it was called, and me and my buddy Jimmy would go get candy. It was illegal at our school to eat candy. We buy candy, bulks of candy, sweet tarts and all these things for 10 cents, 25 cents, and then we would go and sell them in our classroom.
Yeah, you're peddling,
drug deal.
You're reselling candy
with double markup, and people were buying them, those sour ball things, whatever.
Lemon heads and stuff.
Lemon heads, all that stuff. So I was always doing that stuff. And it was just part of it. My dad was always an entrepreneur. You've met Big Tim.
Oh yeah.
And this whole work-life balance thing that everybody talks about, I don't think it really applies to entrepreneurs.
I understand that.
And you go to this corporate America, like my mom, right? She's a school teacher, or like family members. They go and they clock in, they clock out at the end of the day, and they go home, and nothing's really on their mind. They cut it off.
They have the ability to.
They have the ability to cut it off, and then the next day, they go back to work.
Yep.
Entrepreneurs and even you yourself, we just build this into our lives. It's just part of our lives. And so in order for you to run your life the way you want it to run, you've got to kind of like intertwine your personal and your business life into one. And then it just becomes your life.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I've always done, and my family sometimes didn't understand it. Like people around me didn't understand, like, hey, you need to take a vacation.
Yeah.
You need to take some time off. You work too much. You hear this, right? Like,
I've heard it.
Like
tons.
podcasters, right? Gym owners. You guys hear this from your peers. You hear this from your family. Maybe it's your wife or your husband. Hey, you work too much. And the thing about that is I heard, Russell Brunson, who's a mentor of mine, where he was in his inner circle for a while, and he came out with a video, like a short, like 2-minute video, and talked about momentum. And when I watched this video, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It's like, this is exactly why I feel this way. And so really what it comes down to is entrepreneurs are basically happy or sad based on momentum. When momentum in your business is at an all-time high, you're the most happy. When you lose momentum in your business, then you become sad. And that's why going on a vacation is so hard for myself and other entrepreneurs, is because you lose momentum typically when you step away. If you're not pressing the gas all the time, you start losing momentum, you get sad. And so there's ways to combat that. So let me ask you, listeners, do you feel this way, right? Do you feel like if you go on vacation, you can't really enjoy it because you're losing momentum? And maybe you didn't realize that was what was happening until now, because it hit me the same way.
Yeah, it's like an epiphany.
It's like, wow, all of a sudden I'm on vacation. I have to unplug because I want to spend time with the family, but now I'm losing momentum in my business. So I'm on edge. I'm anxiety. It's like, I gotta get back.
Yeah, you don't feel like you can actually fully engage in what's in front of you because you have something in the back of your mind that's trying to pull you back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And while a lot of times your family is like, hey, you need to take a vacation, it's hard for entrepreneurs to do that. Like, I don't need a vacation. I don't need one because you need one from your job. I don't need one. That's not how I'm built. So like we go to Newport Beach every year. Yep. We work while we're there. Yep. Sure, we have a blast, and we made sure to have an extra big blast this last time, 4th of July. But what did we do? There was a couple days in there we were taking calls. Yeah. I was on the patio staring at the beach talking to clients in Australia. I remember that.
I took sales calls, during between lunch, and we have to. I mean, that's part of the game.
Yeah. But we still enjoyed it, right?
Without a doubt. And we were talking about it before. There's a principle that a coach taught me years ago, and I think it applies to more of the entrepreneurial mindset than it does your stereotypical employee. And it's not always focused on the work-life balance, but creating a synergy. Here's the difference, right? You got balance is two opposing forces working against each other and battling for that middle ground, where synergy is those two forces working together for a common good. And when you can kind of create the systems and understanding, manage your day to have that synergy where you know that your time with your family is supporting your work life. Your work life is supporting your time with your family. Yep. And those goals are ultimately the same at the end of the day. Yep. That's where that kind of momentum comes from and takes off. And you don't feel like you're battling having to spend time between one or the other.
And that's the tough part. And I think a lot of the listeners will probably relate to this. You probably didn't realize it, because I didn't at all. It was just like I couldn't go on vacation. I couldn't unplug because somebody told me I needed to, because I didn't feel like I needed to. But as soon as I did unplug, we would lose momentum, and then I'd become unhappy. So there's some things you can do, right? So that's part of why we want to do this podcast, is because there's things that you can do that build momentum throughout a vacation. So like if you were to go take time off, or maybe it's, you're going out of town, our buddy John's in Portugal right now. If you didn't,
Nice,
I just
I didn't
talked
even
to him,
know
he's
that,
in
yeah.
Portugal. It's like he's taking time off, but he's set up things, and I do this all the time. When we travel, like I travel for the SDS all the time,
Yep.
right? So we're coming up on another meeting, and when I travel, you always see us creating some things ahead of time, and especially in our automation world, I will create a campaign that runs through that vacation or through that meeting when I'm out of town, so that there's emails and things happening behind me without me being involved, that we get a sale online, or you make a sale that I'm not involved in, or Katie's making a sale. It's just like, cool, that builds momentum, and then I can breathe and everything's great. We're still building momentum. So it really comes down to planning and making sure that you build momentum throughout a vacation or time off, or continuously building momentum all the time.
Mm-hmm. A lot of it comes down to systems, having some automation in play. If it can't be on your hour or your time exchange, you need something to be able to facilitate that work. But that's all preparation, right? You've forecasted for the time off and planned strategically. Right now we're coming up to January.
Yeah.
The conversation is kind of the same thing, right? You have the ability to create that momentum now. The work that we're doing now is going to pay off when, everybody's looking and thinking about fitness.
Yep.
Momentum is one of those things that you have to, it's a train. The work that goes into creating that momentum it's a well, right? It's difficult in the beginning sometimes, but once you create that momentum, it's so much easier to keep your one finger on the well and keep that flow of water than it is to let that stop and then try and get that water back again.
Yep.
And then that stress that you feel is you battling to get that momentum back.
Exactly. Yep. When you're not getting people walking in your gym, you have clients leaving, you have no marketing in place ahead of time, that's when probably most gym owners feel the most uneasy.
Sure.
Right? There's nothing happening in the gym. The clients have maybe left, or the gym is slow and there's no new leads coming in. Like, picture that, gym owners. Maybe that's you right now.
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee, I know what that feels like. You're probably like freaking out. You're not happy. You maybe take it out on your spouse, take it out on your employees. It's part of it. So to combat that, and we had a really tough time defining what momentum was.
Yeah.
Is it projects? Is it sales? Is it, and for me, it's action.
Yeah,
it's
100%.
action. It's things that are happening. There's action in the business. I'm happy. When there's like, what are we doing?
Standing around.
Stagnant.
Yep.
That's when I'm sad. So gym owners, personal trainers, listen to this podcast, create momentum by planning out in advance and and creating these, like, especially marketing campaigns. That's probably going to drive the most, momentum in your business.
Yeah.
But like for us, it's projects, it's big proposals going out, it's calls being booked on the calendars, it's
the
strategies,
event.
it's the event.
Yeah, it's having, for us personally, I think it's those actionable steps, right?
Yes.
And then we enjoy I think a lot of entrepreneurs have that checklist mentality, like when you have something in front of you, you enjoy that feeling of knocking things off the list.
Yeah.
It just, like it's exciting. It's like you're accomplishing things.
Yep.
And that's exactly what keeps us going and driven every morning.
Right. So this podcast is a little different. I just wanted to take you back into a little bit of my personal life, because this hit me, and I know it's hitting you right now. Like, oh my gosh, that's why I'm unhappy going on vacation, or I can't spend time, or I'm always constantly looking at my phone when I'm at the house. To me, there's nothing wrong with taking your work home. There's so many people that preach the opposite. Like, you need to be fully engaged in your family at the time. I think, yes, you should be, but you don't have to be.
Yeah.
Like, my family at home, they know.
Well, but that's the other half of it is your counterpart,
Yep.
or let's say your roommate or whoever is around in those moments. I mean, I've had both sides of the coin, right?
Yeah.
I've had the people that I'm either dating or with or whatever that fully understand that at any moment, I might be on the phone with a client.
Mm-hmm.
It just is that way. But at the middle of the day, like, we could go out to lunch for a half hour, and it still works.
Sure.
And then the other half of the coin, where you get those that are just like, damn, you're always on your phone. And I'm like, yeah, but things are happening, like, this is the things that keep us going and happy is we're moving the needle. The ball is rolling. There's action to be done.
Momentum.
Momentum.
In fact, I'm going to get a tattoo. I've been saying that.
Across the neck?
Forehead.
I love it.
Back of my neck, earlobes. Momentum.
Just under the beard. Just
I
right
think
here.
momentum is like the key to all happiness when it comes to entrepreneurship. Personally,
I think momentum is the result. I think having things to focus on and take action. A lot of coaches preach action. Stagnation, take action. It doesn't, like you said, imperfect action, perfect progress. I think you said, like, you have to move the needle. Yep. If you're stuck, do something. And this, I mean, as gym owners, you guys see it with diets. You see it with fitness. You see it with your clients' results. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, if they're not in the gym, if they're not eating, making a better choice when it comes to the food that are coming, like, all of those will be fixed as long as it might be a longer road, but they're moving the needle forward.
Right.
You can't just neglect it and expect things to change.
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing.
So look at yourself, look inward, look at the business today. Where are you at? Do you have leads coming in? Is your gym busy? Is your coaching staff all on point? Do you have a big project coming up? Maybe an event you want to start planning? Do it, because you're going to be happier because you're working on something that's going to move the needle, and ultimately it comes down to momentum. Period. Mm-hmm. So do that, guys. That's the short and sweet episode today. I mean, I just wanted to get that message to you because I know it's going to help you. I know it's what you're thinking. I know what you're going through today, right now, in your car, in the gym. You're listening to this. Think about it. Think about when you're happiest. When are you most on? It's most likely when you've got a ton of things going on, and work isn't work to you. It's not that you shy away from the work, because you probably love the work like I do. It's not work life, it's life. And if you're building on that, you're going to be much, much happier. So spend the time over the next day, 2 week, or whatever it is, and plan out some game plans and get some big, hairy, like, projects to do.
Sure.
That aren't just wasting time to build time. Do it. They're actually going to build momentum in your business to the greater good.
And you, if you're in a position where it's the other end of the spectrum and you just have too much on your plate, that you need to find some automation, find some systems, do some things so that you can be more effective with your time. You can not feel under, I don't want to say under the weather, but like under that immense stress and pressure. Let's have that conversation as well, because again, it comes back to a better quality of life, being able to enjoy the dancing in the fire as opposed to just, stress and freaking out. It's manageable. Yeah. There's got avenues.
I've actually got that built into our event. I've actually have what do you want? What is it? Activity.
Like an activity.
Have an activity that we're going to go through as a group, and we're going to identify the needle movers and what's busy, and we're going to grade them. And there's a couple things that, it's called, I know when I'm being successful when I'm doing this, and it's going to help identify it for anybody that's in attendance. And we could do it again on the show later. What are the things that you need to be spending your time on? If you've got 10 things to do, it's going to help you identify that 1 or 2 things, and then everything else needs to go away.
Yeah.
And that'll change for everybody.
Yeah.
Big time.
Awesome.
Okay. That's it for this episode, guys. The Fit Pro Growth Summit sold out. So sorry if you didn't make the list this time. We're going to actually probably, based on how this event goes, we'll probably do another one.
Sure.
I mean, I love this stuff. So guys, until next time, keep building something great. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye.